they think like once they break up, they can just move on, right? Like some people, when they break up, they're like, okay, Johnny, who's been messaging me all this time, I'm gonna go over to his
Mm,
house because they say the best way to get over someone is to get under someone, right? Jokingly, of
mm,
course. I'm not saying that for people to do that, but I know that people do, right? Like people say that, okay, my bedroom is cold because I'm not with this person anymore. Let me go warm it up in ways that are very unhealthy. And I think taking the time to understand how this relationship has impacted you, not only maybe financially, maybe not mentally, but emotionally as well, right? Because regardless of how bad it became, there's probably a point in the relationship where both parties actually loved each other, or
mm.
they may have had strong enough feelings. And then for people to move on so quickly and then just push it on the other person saying that, okay, you know what, all the issues was that person's fault. I challenge that sometimes and ask the person, okay, as bad as it was, I know I've been in emotionally manipulative, abusive relationships. There's a point where I look back on some of those relationships and I said, aha, that was the indicator. That was the fork in the road that I could have said, I think maybe I need a pivot and step
Mhm.
away from this, or at least do a check in with the person, or I can continue down that path. Do you think a lot of people have that same mentality where when they're in a reflective perspective now, they can look back and say, okay, this is when something didn't seem right, but I maybe didn't hone in on it, or maybe I ignored it altogether?
Oh, for sure. And I think this is one of the things that's quite unique about narcissistic abuse, is that it, in the beginning, this person is your dream partner. And there's a reason for this. It's called the love bombing stage of the narcissistic abuse cycle, where they absolutely have to make you fall in love with them. And what they do is something called mirroring. So if you say, "Oh, my dream idea of a vacation is to go to Greece," they'll say, "Oh my God, my dream vacation place is Greece too. That's so amazing. Oh my God." And if you say, "I really prefer red wine to white wine," "Oh, no way. Yeah, I love red wine too." And then, "I'd love to have two kids." "Oh my God, two kids. Yeah, two is my perfect number." And suddenly, you find yourself thinking, I am so in sync with this person. Like, I have never met someone where everything lines up so much. And in hindsight, knowing what I know now, which was that that was all fake to kind of suck me in and get me where he wanted me, um, there is nobody on the planet that you are 100% in sync with. This person doesn't exist. The only person you're 100% in sync with is you. So, in a strange way, it's like you kind of fall in love with yourself because this person is reflecting back the best of you, all your desires, your dreams, your accomplishments, your wants, your fantasies. And suddenly you're all you can think is, this is just so meant to be. And then they start to say stuff like, this really feels destined. Like, this really feels like, the stars are all aligned and I finally found you and I've been looking for you my entire life. And again, in retrospect, looking back on it, that's another red flag because that's um, giving the relationship a status and intimacy that has been rushed. And it's been rushed because they haven't told you the truth about themselves. They've told you the truth about you because everything you've said they've agreed with, but you don't actually know anything about them, not really. And so, um, in with narcissists, everything's sort of on fast forward, everything's rushed. I mean, it's not unusual to hear they'll tell you they love you in the first week or two after meeting you, or they want to move in with you immediately, or they want to get you pregnant like now. Let's just and you're so swept up in this whole, oh, I've met my soulmate, that you find yourself agreeing to the rush. And there's also this fear that if I let them get away, I'm never going to meet anybody this in sync with me ever again. So the whole beginning of the relationship is such a whirlwind. And what I can honestly tell people is, and I'm a romance writer. This is what I do is I write romance. Um, I know it can seem attractive to think, oh, star-crossed lovers, no, this is so amazing, and oh, my soulmate. But in real life, um, true, healthy, legitimate, honest relationships take time to grow and develop. You get to know each other over time, and you see each other in different settings, and you have different opinions on things, different likes, different dreams, different preferences, and all these things are healthy and normal. If you've met somebody who's like the carbon copy of you, and they're pushing you and they're saying they love you immediately, this is such a warning sign, but it's not one that gets talked about a lot because I think this whole um, pushing the big romance thing is especially pushed on women. Like, I think we as women, not so much the generation, like I'm 53, so I was still raised on the whole generational belief that um, your soulmate is out there and true love is a fairy tale, and the great loves and the great romances, those movies of the 80s and 90s, the big declaration. And you don't fall in love with a big declaration, you fall in love with a bunch of little day-to-day things about a person. And so if you're with somebody who is rushing you, big declaration, claims you're fated, take a step back and just slow things down. And that is something that I have learned the hard way, because the whole thing is, once you're totally in love with them, and once you've moved in with them, and in my case I brought my son, I got on the plane, I moved countries, and I came here for him, I brought my son. Well, now they've got you where they want you, so now they can start to be who they truly are, which is where we call the unmasking of the narcissist. The mask starts to slip, and you start to see the true person behind this perfect facade they have created for you. But now there's no need to keep up the facade because, well, you know, they've got you. They've got you. And this is where things start to change as well.